For the last 2 years, my #1 pick for the best mesh chair under $500 has been the Eurotech Vera, and this is still my top pick today. It's not often we find A-tier comfort for under $500. Now, I was going through our video library, I realized it's been almost 2 years since we've done a video on just the Vera. So that's what we're gonna do today. At $450, the Vera fits between that $270 Atlas chair and the $580 Soji chair. So this range is where you can find some really good value. You might be giving up some of those premium features, but that comfort per dollar is a really good value here. I have to start with the backrest for the Vera chair. This is just a super comfortable mesh backrest. We've done tier lists where we ranked just the backrest, and the three of us gave the Vera the A tier. It has just the right amount of support in the mesh. It has some give so you sink down, get that suspended feeling, but it's not too tight that it feels really firm. So I've talked about this in a lot of videos. Some manufacturers, even on really expensive chairs, go too loose. And then you find yourself sinking through the mesh backrest, hitting the frame, and it makes you really not want to move around in the chair. The Vera hit that perfect balance where you're still able to move around and not feel your back hitting the hard frame. The Vera is one of the few chairs that does a really good job giving you lumbar support without having any kind of adjustable system. So this is kind of similar to the Era, and you can see that the curve in the backrest frame gives you that bump out. It gives you the support into your lower back. And what happens here is even different size people can fit into that backrest and sink in just enough to feel the support without feeling too much pushing against their back. So a great part about this design is that it fits a large range of users. I'm 6'2". I fit really well in this backrest. My back never seems to hit the top of the frame. Now we do at BTOD have fit charts, okay? So these guides will help you know that if your height, your weight will fit into the chair properly. So if you're a little taller than me, starting at about 6'3", we caution you that depending on your body type, the chair might start to feel a little too short in the backrest. But depending on your body type, you might be fine all the way up to someone that's 6'6". So we're always talking about movement, flexibility in a chair. Now the Vera backrest does not necessarily have a ton of flex, but what it does do is let you still move around in the chair. You'll never feel like you're locked into place. So if you really want that full flexibility in a chair, you're gonna wanna look at something like the Steelcase Leap or the Herman Miller Embody chair. So while we're talking about the backrest, let's get into some of the adjustments that deal with the back and the recline. So the Vera has a synchro tilt recline. Now this is the preferred style of recline. It gives you that more deep feeling. You can really sink back into the chair. It's not the type of recline where you're gonna be really rocking back and forth, real smooth like an Aeron, but it is something that feels really nice if you wanna recline back and stay in that reclined position. So it does have 4 locking positions. Personally, I like to keep the chair unlocked, dial up my tilt tension so that I can have it rest at just the right point in the recline. This allows me to move around a little bit more in the chair and easily recline when I want to stretch out. It's also really nice that when you do go to make those adjustments on the tilt tension, it's super responsive. You don't have to sit and crank that knob a bunch of times. So let's move on to seat comfort. Now this might be even more important than backrest comfort. The reason for this is because we don't find a ton of deal breaker backrests. It definitely happens, but it's not as common. What we do find a lot is seats that are deal breakers for chairs. Thankfully, Vera does not have that. It actually has a really nice seat. As you can see, the Vera seat pad is a little bit thicker than what you'll see in a lot of high-end chairs. The good thing here is you don't sink so deep into it that it limits how much you can move around in the chair. Also, a lot of times seats like this, where you sink far down, can feel really warm after a short amount of time. The seat gives you really nice support without ever feeling like you're bottoming out through the bottom of the chair. I would say it's more on the firm or medium firm side, so if you're really looking for a plush seating option, this wouldn't be your chair. Now what I would recommend if you want that really plush seating experience is the BTOD Akira chair. We just did a video on this, so you can check that one out after. The seat does have depth adjustment, so again, this will help accommodate for those taller or shorter people. I'll be honest with you, I am very picky when it comes to armrests on chairs, so I am going to get a little more critical when it comes to the Vera here. First, I'll start off with something I do like though. I like the rounded shape of the pads. It has no hard edges, so you can really move around and not feel any hard spots on your arms. The armrests are also very sturdy, so you can really put some weight on them, move around in the chair, and you can really trust that they're going to hold some weight. The actual pads on the arms are a bit on the firm side. They're not super hard, but they don't have as much give as some of the other high-end chairs. The advantage here is that they will last a long time. They just won't be quite as cush as some other pads. So arm adjustments on a chair can really help to fit different body types. So thankfully the Vera does have 4-way adjustable arms that has depth, width, pivot, and then also height adjustment. Probably my biggest problem with the Vera chair is I wish that the arms went lower. I like to really get my arms down low and have them even with my desktop. Now this isn't a deal breaker problem, but it is something to consider if you really like to have your arms low down. So here's the proof that this wasn't really a deal breaker for me. In my early days at BTOD, after sitting in this chair at the office, I bought one of these with my own money to bring home for my home office. Getting back into the pros of the chair, the build quality on the Vera is very nice. So you're gonna get good quality mesh. I really like the mesh material and a nice fabric on the seat. All the parts are smooth. You're not gonna have rattling or creaking. So for the price point, you're getting a really good build quality. So the one downside is that if you wear a loose woven clothing, like a sweater type material, the mesh on the backrest will pull on that and it's gonna kind of get caught in the backrest. So if you wear this type of clothing, maybe sweaters or real soft fabrics, you might wanna just avoid the Vera. So having a headrest on a chair may or may not matter to you. I know a lot of you are working kind of hybrid where you're working from your home office and then maybe in the evening you're kicking back, gaming, watching a movie, something like that. And for that, a headrest can be really nice. Now with the Vera chair, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for that situation. For me personally, it's just too short. And without having any of those adjustments, I can't get it in the right spot. Now the good thing here is that if it does fit you, it is that kind of nice headrest that fits into the curve of your neck. As a general rule, I wouldn't necessarily recommend the headrest to everyone, but if it does fit you, it can be a comfortable addition. So while this continues to be my number one pick for this under $500 range, that pick is for a mesh chair. And if you're not sure that you want to have a mesh chair, I recommend checking out our refurbished Steelcase EMEA chairs. If you're open to going with a full fabric upholstered seat, the EMEA chair is going to be a step up in even more premium features and A-tier comfort for even less money than this Vera chair. Check out this next video to see the BTOD refurbishing process.